Ladies, gentlemen, and trainers of all ages, the Indigo Disc DLC is right around the corner, the final DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and with that knowledge, you might well be wondering what you can do right now, right this second, in order to prepare yourself to have the best experience possible. So today we're going to go over the 10 things that you should absolutely do before the Indigo Disc releases, and we'll go in a sort of order of importance, which is why the first one on our list is something that may seem quite obvious, but if you don't do it, you literally cannot play the DLC, and that is finish the story of the base game itself, as well as the story of the Teal Mask DLC. You simply cannot start Indigo Disc if you haven't. It is directly tied to the Teal Mask, so make sure that you get all of that done for guaranteed access as soon as possible on release. Part of that is, of course, once you finish the story of the base game itself, you unlock the post-game story, and that is important because another thing on our list is making sure that you unlock 7-star Terra raids so that you are ready for any new events that come in with this DLC. And just in case anyone hasn't actually done that yet, the way to do it is simply to follow the post-game story itself for Scarlet and Violet as a base game that brings you back through the gym leaders you've already fought. Then you do the Ace tournament, and then you just have to do some 5-star raids as the host. Not the most complex thing, but definitely important to have done before we get into this whole new DLC. Something that leads into actually is just farm up all of your required resources. Farming up your Poké Dollars so you can afford all the items that you might need, or even any new outfits that might come in the DLC too, is going to be really important to do. So having a large lump sum of cash before we even dive into it can really make the experience feel much more convenient and comfortable, sort of like having money in real life, I suppose. We have various videos on the channel for how to farm money, but to put it simply, the best simple method is still based around the Ace tournament, so good thing that we mentioned unlocking that in the last section. As well for this past money itself, you also want to farm up any other resources you might need, such as sandwich ingredients, and even more importantly, Herba Mystica, if you plan on doing any shiny hunting with the new Pokemon added in the DLC as well. With that covered, let's talk about your Pokemon team. The first and most important part of this is getting your desired team to at least level 75. From what we know, the opponents that we'll have at the start of the DLC will be right around level 75, so if you want a fair and engaging challenge for the DLC, 75 is the right place to be at, especially as according to the Pokemon team themselves, the fights in this DLC have been purposely created in a way to be more difficult than a normal Pokemon story experience because it is so late in the life cycle of the game, and most people just have level 100 Pokemon at this point. So basically, if you want a nice, even, engaging challenge, take in a team of level 75s, but if you want to, you can still overlevel the Pokemon if you want to make it easier for yourself. That choice is simply up to you, just be aware of this information. On a similar note, we know that every story battle and every trainer battle within Indigo Disc is actually going to be a duo battle, meaning 2 Pokemon at a time from each side. So rather than thinking about your team from a one-on-one solo battle perspective, you may want to instead choose your Pokemon for this DLC for how well they interact between each other, or just because you like the concept of using them together. That's also acceptable too. An example, of course, is that you can use Tatsugiri and Dondozo, which are a funny little combo because of the way their abilities work, and they have a special effect in duo battles that turns Dondozo into basically a raid monster. You can't use this consistently in PvE normally because it requires being in a duo battle, but with us knowing that everything except wild Pokemon pretty much is going to be a duo battle, you could absolutely go raid boss Dondozo mode and just have some silly fun the whole time that normally you just wouldn't be able to do otherwise. On a similar note, if you really find yourself with some extra time before the DLC comes out, with your new team already set and decided, you can always just go out shiny hunting any members of your team that you'd rather have in an alternate color scheme for the journey. There's a lot of different shiny farming methods, and we have some videos on our channel for those if you do so desire, but this is just a little bit of a bonus effort if you want your team to not just be your ideal group of 6, but also look cool on top of that. One consideration as far as building your team goes in as well is something you may not even have realized is in the game, a special unique form of Ursaluna that was hidden away behind the Pokédex of the Teal Mask DLC, so if you didn't go full completionist mode on that, then you might not even really know of it. And this is Blood Moon Ursaluna, a badass looking variation of our good old bear pal who has some ridiculous levels of power that could of course come quite in handy in the Indigo Disc DLC. Or maybe you just like the idea of bringing along this rare Pokemon that you haven't used before and making it a proper part of your team just to mess around. For those who don't know, the base requirement for finding this Pokemon is to fill out 150 Pokemon in the Kitakami Pokedex, after which point you want to find Perrin, the photographer in the main town area, beat her in a battle of wits, and, well, the Pokemon, of course, and once you do, you'll be sent to the Timeless Woods area, and there you'll start a quest to take some pictures of Pokemon, no big deal. Then once you do that, you'll actually be able to face Blood Moon Ursaluna, who will function like a Terra Raid boss, bigger health bar than normal, and once you KO it, you get the opportunity for a free guaranteed catch to just throw a Pokeball at it for free, no problem, and you'll get it for sure. On a similar note to that, there's been a little birdie floating around chirping in the ears of a lot of Pokemon trainers that there is going to be a brand new evolution in the Indigo Disc for a certain Pokemon. So if that sounds interesting to you, you may well want to pick yourself up a friendly Applin. Then you'll want to turn it into a Dipplin, which is the new form of this Pokemon introduced in the Teal Mask DLC by giving Applin a syrupy apple. Once you do that, you should actually be ready for Dipplin to reach its final form within the Indigo disc itself, which personally I'm quite looking forward to actually seeing properly in the game. Then just a couple more things to round this all off. First, pick up your mystery gifts, especially if you haven't been looking to see what these time-free offerings are right now and don't know what has been happening. This is sort of the perfect time to tune into it, because right now through the mystery gift system in the game, they are giving away to everyone for free a full-on shiny Lucario by using the code ShinyBuddy, that's SH1NYBUDDY, you know, the normal way you spell buddy, as well as a darkrai, if that interests you as a potential member of your team as well, or even if you just want it to, you know, sit in your box. That's entirely up to you. The Pokemon are yours to do what you want with, just make sure you actually grab them. The code for the darkrai then specifically is New Moon is Coming, or NEW M00N1SC0M1NG. This one stops going out on the 21st of this month. The shiny Lucario ends in early January, so you definitely want to make sure that you grab both of these as soon as possible, whether you want them in your actual Indigo Disc Journey party or not, because, well, if you don't get them, what do you think happens to all those extra Pokemon they put aside for us? You think they just set them free? No, of course not. They force them to do intense physical labor, so make sure that you get them and save them from this. Then we have our final thing to do before the Indigo Disc comes out. This one definitely matters more to some than to others, and definitely is optional, but of course, it has to be mentioned as far as I'm concerned. Sort your damn drip out. No, I'm not talking about the leaky faucet in your bathroom. I'm talking about the leaky faucet that is that thing you call an outfit. Spend a bit of time going around to the various clothing shops within the game, get yourself some style in your life, and remember that outside of me, nobody's opinion matters but your own, so just find something that you like the aesthetic look of yourself and go with it, so you can actually like the way that you look while you progress through the Teal Mask. If you did choose an outfit for yourself ages ago, maybe just change some things up so you have something new to look at in this DLC. And of course, always make sure it includes sunglasses. A lot of Pokemon attacks are bright as hell, and you don't want to hurt your eyes. That just about does it for today then, everyone. 10 things that you should absolutely do in the small amount of time that we have left leading up to the release of the Indigo Disc DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. There is quite a bit to do if you want to. I mean, a lot of it is absolutely optional, but everything on this list will enhance your experience with the DLC in one way or another, whether it makes you literally have more fun, or it just makes some of the more potentially tedious moments a bit more streamlined and comfortable. Either way, I hope this list has helped you out in some way, and I look forward to seeing you all in the big blueberry in the sea not too long from now. Good luck in all of your battles, and I'll see you next time. Like if you liked the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world our stage. Goodbye.